Stop negotiating with yourself means ending the silent conversations you have every day that slowly destroy your discipline. It's that moment when your alarm rings and your mind whispers, just 5 more minutes. It's when you plan to start something important, but then tell yourself, I'll do it later. These small negotiations feel harmless, but they are dangerous because they create a pattern. Every time you listen to that voice, you train your brain to choose comfort over growth. Your mind is designed to protect you, not to make you successful. It wants safety, ease, and certainty. So whenever something feels difficult or uncomfortable, it immediately looks for an escape. That's why you feel resistance when it's time to work, to study, to exercise, or to take risks. The problem is not the task itself. The problem is that you keep listening to the wrong voice inside you. Discipline begins when you stop giving that voice power. When you decide that your actions are not controlled by how you feel, but by what you have decided. Think about it. If you only act when you feel motivated, you will achieve very little. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you feel strong, some days you feel tired, distracted, or even lost. But discipline does not care about your mood. Discipline says, I do this because I said I would. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you are not just delaying action, you are building a habit of weakness. You are teaching yourself that your words don't matter. And if you don't trust your own promises, how can you expect to build anything meaningful? Success is built on self-trust, and self-trust is built when you keep your word to yourself, especially when it's hard. You have to become a person who acts immediately. Not perfectly, not with full confidence, but with urgency. When it's time to work, you start. When it's time to move, you move. You don't sit there thinking, analyzing, or waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. Action creates clarity, not the other way around. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You will feel resistance, even frustration. That's normal. It means you are breaking an old pattern. But the more you act without negotiating, the stronger you become. Your mind starts to understand that excuses are no longer accepted. It adapts. What once felt difficult starts to feel normal. This is how discipline is built, not in big moments, but in small daily decisions. Waking up on time, starting your work without delay, finishing what you begin. These actions may look simple, but they are powerful because they shape your identity. You are no longer someone who talks. You become someone who does. And once you reach that point, everything changes. You don't waste time arguing with yourself anymore. You don't depend on motivation. You move with purpose, with clarity, and with control. That is the moment when discipline stops being a struggle and becomes a part of who you are. Building a strict daily routine is not about making your life boring. It's about removing chaos and replacing it with control. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because their days are unstructured. They wake up at different times, work when they feel like it, waste hours without realizing, and then wonder why nothing is changing. A powerful life is built on a controlled day, and a controlled day starts with a routine you follow no matter what. Your brain loves patterns. When you repeat the same actions at the same time every day, those actions become easier. You don't need to think, you don't need to decide, you just do. This is where discipline becomes stronger, because you are not relying on willpower all the time. Instead of asking yourself, should I work now? Your routine already answered that question. The decision is made, and you simply follow through. The problem with most people is, they treat their goals like options. If they feel good, they work. If they feel tired, they rest. If something more entertaining comes along, they get distracted. This kind of lifestyle creates inconsistency, and inconsistency kills progress. You cannot build anything meaningful if your effort is random. A strict routine removes this randomness and replaces it with consistency. It starts with simple structure. You wake up at the same time every day, not because you feel like it, but because you decided it matters. You create fixed blocks of time for your most important work, and during that time, nothing else exists. No distractions, no excuses, no delays. This is your time to build your future. Then you assign time for learning, for improving your skills, for taking care of your body. Everything has a place, and everything has a purpose. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. You may feel restricted, like you're losing freedom. But the truth is, you are gaining freedom. Because when your day is organized, your mind is clear. You don't waste energy deciding what to do next. You don't feel guilty about wasted time. You move from one task to another with focus and intention. There will be days when you don't feel like following your routine. You will feel tired, distracted, or even frustrated. This is where most people break. They think missing one day doesn't matter, but it does. Because discipline is not built in easy moments, it's built when you continue despite resistance. When you follow your routine on your worst days, you prove to yourself that your commitment is real. A strong routine also protects you from distractions. In today's world, there are endless things trying to steal your attention. Social media, entertainment, unnecessary conversations. If you don't control your time, these things will control you. But when your routine is clear, you know exactly what you should be doing at any moment, and it becomes easier to say no to everything else. Over time, your routine becomes part of your identity. You are no longer forcing yourself to work, to improve, or to stay focused. It becomes natural, and this is the real power of discipline. When the things that once felt hard become automatic, that's when you stop depending on motivation and start depending on systems that work every single day. Sacrifice is the part nobody wants to talk about, but it is the price of every meaningful result. Everyone likes the idea of success, the recognition, the money, the freedom, but very few people are willing to give up what it takes to get there. The truth is simple and uncomfortable. You cannot keep everything and still move forward. Something has to go. Most people try to live two lives at the same time. One life where they dream big, talk about goals, and imagine a better future, and another life where they stay comfortable, distracted, and entertained. These two lives cannot exist together for long. At some point, one will destroy the other. And in most cases, comfort wins because it feels easier in the moment. Sacrifice means choosing long-term growth over short-term pleasure again and again. It means turning off the distractions when everyone else is enjoying them. It means saying no to things that don't align with your goals, even if they are fun, even if they are popular, even if they make you feel included. You start to understand that every yes to comfort is often a no to your future. Time is one of the biggest things you will have to sacrifice. You will not have the same free hours as others. While people are scrolling, watching, or wasting time, you are building something. At first, it may feel like you are missing out, but in reality, you are investing. You are trading temporary pleasure for something that will last much longer. Another sacrifice is comfort itself. Growth does not happen in comfortable situations. It happens when you are tired but still continue, when things are difficult but you don't quit, when results are slow but you stay patient. This kind of discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It is a sign that you are moving forward. But you have to be willing to stay in that uncomfortable space without escaping it. You may also have to sacrifice certain relationships, or at least change how much access people have to your time and energy. Not everyone around you will understand your journey. Some people will question you, some will doubt you, and some will try to pull you back into old habits. This does not mean you stop caring about them, but it means you become more selective. You protect your focus because you know how valuable it is. Sacrifice is not about losing everything. It's about choosing what matters most. When you are clear about your goals, your decisions become easier. You don't feel like you are giving things up. You feel like you are making space for something better. You start to see that every disciplined choice, every moment of restraint, is building a stronger version of you. There will be moments when you question if it's worth it, when the progress feels slow and the effort feels heavy. This is where most people turn back, because they expect quick results for their sacrifices. But real success is not fast, and it is not easy. The people who win are the ones who keep going even when the rewards are not immediate. Over time, your sacrifices begin to pay off. The skills you build, the habits you create, the focus you develop, all start to compound. And while others are still stuck in cycles of comfort and distraction, you are moving ahead with clarity and strength. What once felt like sacrifice starts to feel like power, because you realize you are no longer controlled by temporary desires. You are guided by purpose. Controlling your environment is one of the most underestimated forms of discipline, yet it has one of the strongest impacts on your life. Most people think success is only about willpower, about being mentally strong enough to resist distractions and stay focused no matter what. But the truth is, willpower is limited. If your environment is constantly working against you, even the strongest mindset will eventually break. Look at your daily surroundings. The people you spend time with, the content you consume, the places you go, the conversations you listen to, all of these things are shaping your thinking without you even realizing it. If you are surrounded by negativity, complaints, and excuses, your mind slowly starts to normalize that behavior. It becomes your standard, and once something becomes normal, it becomes very hard to reject. This is why many people feel stuck. Not because they lack ambition, but because their environment keeps pulling them back. You cannot grow in a place that celebrates comfort and avoids effort. You cannot stay focused if everything around you is designed to distract you. Discipline becomes much harder when your surroundings are not aligned with your goals. Controlling your environment means making intentional choices about what you allow into your life. It starts with people. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you need to become aware. Who motivates you? Who drains your energy? Who pushes you to improve? And who encourages you to stay the same? The people around you influence your standards. If they are not growing, chances are you won't grow either. It also includes what you consume every day. The videos you watch, the posts you scroll through, the information you take in. If your mind is constantly filled with entertainment, gossip, and meaningless content, it becomes harder to focus on anything serious. Your attention span weakens, your priorities shift, and your discipline fades. But when you start feeding your mind with useful, inspiring, and educational content, your thinking begins to change. You become more focused, more aware, and more intentional. Your physical space matters too. A cluttered, disorganized environment often leads to a cluttered mind. When your surroundings are messy, it becomes easier to feel lazy and unmotivated. But when your space is clean and organized, it sends a signal to your brain that it's time to be focused and productive. Small changes like organizing your desk, reducing distractions, or creating a dedicated workspace can make a big difference. Another important part of controlling your environment is reducing temptation. Don't rely on your ability to resist distractions, remove them. If your phone is your biggest distraction, keep it away when you work. If certain habits are pulling you back, make them harder to access. Discipline is not just about saying no. It's about making it easier to say yes to the right things. At first, these changes may feel uncomfortable. You may feel disconnected from your usual habits or even from certain people. But this is part of growth. You are not losing your identity, you are refining it. You are choosing a path that requires focus, clarity, and strength. Over time, your environment starts working for you instead of against you. You don't have to fight as many battles in your mind because your surroundings support your goals. Discipline becomes easier, not because you became stronger overnight, but because you became smarter about what you allow into your life. Taking full responsibility is one of the hardest things a person can do because it forces you to face the truth without excuses. It means you stop pointing at your past, your situation, other people, or bad luck, and you start looking at yourself. Not to blame yourself in a negative way, but to understand that your life is a result of your choices, your actions, and your standards. Most people avoid responsibility because it feels heavy. It's easier to say I didn't have the right opportunities, or people didn't support me, or the situation wasn't fair. And sometimes those things are true. Life is not always fair, but staying in that mindset keeps you stuck. Because if everything is someone else's fault, then you have no power to change anything. Responsibility changes that. The moment you say, this is on me, everything shifts. You stop waiting for things to improve, and you start making things improve. You stop expecting others to save you, and you start building your own path. It's not a comfortable shift, but it is a powerful one. When you take responsibility, you become more aware of your decisions. You begin to notice how your daily actions are shaping your results. The way you spend your time, the effort you put into your work, the habits you repeat, all of it matters. You realize that small choices are not small at all. They are building your future step by step. It also forces you to be honest with yourself. No more hiding behind excuses or pretending everything is fine. You start asking real questions. Are you really working as hard as you think? Are you using your time wisely? Are your habits aligned with your goals? This level of honesty can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. You cannot improve what you refuse to acknowledge. Taking responsibility also builds strength. When you know that your outcomes depend on you, you become more focused and intentional. You don't waste energy complaining, because you understand that complaining does not create results. Instead, you look for solutions. You adapt, you adjust, and you keep moving forward. There will be moments when things go wrong, even when you try your best. Plans fail, opportunities disappear, mistakes happen. Responsibility does not mean you control everything, but it means you control how you respond. You don't give up or blame the situation, you learn from it. You ask yourself what you can do better next time, and you keep going. Another important part of responsibility is ownership of your growth. Nobody is responsible for improving your skills, your mindset, or your discipline except you. You can learn from others, get advice and seek guidance, but the effort must come from you. You have to be the one who shows up every day, who does the work, who keeps going even when it's difficult. Over time, this mindset changes how you see yourself. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, and start seeing yourself as the creator of your life. That shift is powerful because it gives you control. You are no longer waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect support, or the perfect conditions. You are creating progress with what you have, where you are. And once you truly accept responsibility, excuses lose their power. You don't need them anymore. You have something stronger: clarity, ownership, and the understanding that your future is not something that happens to you, it's something you build every single day.